Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kenny Johnson, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing how to get a perfect credit score for free. So we'll go through the two credit bureaus, how important your score is with them. We'll go through the credit score breakdown, so what makes up your credit score. And then lastly, we'll go over what credit cards you should have so that you can have a perfect credit score. So hopefully you stick around until the end of the video because it's going to be a good one. Now, before we get into the video, I would love to ask if you could click the like button as it helps others see the videos and it helps inspire me to continue pushing out more content. So if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll get started. Before you could get started with knowing or getting a perfect credit score for yourself, it's important that you understand the two credit bureaus that we have here in Canada. So first we have Equifax, and then secondly we have TransUnion. Now you can't necessarily obtain a perfect credit score without really knowing or having access to both of these platforms. Now with both of these platforms, you do have to pay a monthly subscription, but there are free platforms available to you so that you can get free access to your credit score. So the first being Borrowwell, which is going to give you access to your Equifax score for free. And then the second being Credit Karma, which is going to give you access to your TransUnion score. So once you get access to both of these platforms, you then should see your credit score. You then should see all the accounts that are included in your credit profile. So I highly recommend, if you don't have access to them, that you do get access. You can download these apps for free from the App Store, or you can use a typical standard web browser to access these accounts and create an account. Now, when you get access to both of these apps, what you're going to realize is that your credit score is going to be different between the two bureaus. So I've had so many consultation calls with clients, and you'll be surprised how many of them did not know that there actually should be a difference. And the reason why there's this difference is because the credit bureaus have different grading standards when it comes to comprising your credit score. Okay, so you'll never have the same credit score between Equifax and TransUnion. So the journey is going to be a bit different between the two bureaus. I've seen situations to where the Equifax grew extremely fast before the TransUnion took off, and then I've seen situations to where that TransUnion has taken off, and the Equifax is a little bit behind. So again, it all varies because they have different standards for grading your credit score, and also important to note, there's different institutions that are going to report to other credit bureaus rather than others. Okay, so it's important that you understand this. Now let's get into what makes up your credit score so that you can start working towards building up the perfect credit score. So first we have payment history, which makes up 35% of your credit score. All this simply is your ability to make on-time payments over a duration of time. This is where I see most people make the most mistakes because they'll get a credit card, they'll charge the card, and then they won't pay that balance back off, right? But we're going to be responsible. We're going to get a credit card, and then we're going to ensure that whatever we put onto that card, we actually have the money budgeted to pay that back. So as long as you can make on-time payments with your credit card, then you dealing with payment history is not going to be an issue. Also, keep in mind that this is going to be the biggest aspect of what makes up your credit score. So this is the biggest percentage of what calculates your credit score is payment history. Second, we have credit utilization. This makes up 30% of your credit score. So this is the second biggest aspect of how your credit score is calculated. And all this simply is the amount of debt that is being reported to your credit report. Okay, so let's just say, for example, we have a $1,000 limit credit card, and the balance that's being reported to that credit card is $100. Now, this is going to leave us with a 10% utilization. Okay, so this is actually considered a decent or a pretty good utilization. Now, in order to get a perfect credit score, which that's the goal of this video, is that we want to ensure that we're at no higher than 1% utilization. Now, you may say that's pretty much impossible. I'll never get to use my credit card, but it's about what's being reported, right? So as long as we're paying our credit cards off in full by the due date, then you should have no issue with reporting a 1% utilization. Also, as you expand your utilization and get access to more capital, this becomes a lot more easier. So the second most important aspect of keeping a high credit score or having a perfect credit score is keeping your utilization low, preferably at 1%. Third, we have credit history. This makes up 15% of your credit score. Credit history is simply your ability to keep your accounts open for as long as possible. Creditors love to see that you've been able to keep accounts open for a long time and that you don't have late payments. So this kind of ties everything together because now we have accounts that have been open for years. There's no late payments. The utilization has been extremely low. So this is extremely ideal for you to round out your credit profile. So the longer you can keep accounts open, the better. One of the biggest mistakes that I see with a lot of the consumers that I work with is that they close a lot of their accounts and they fail to realize that as soon as they close them, it's going to affect their credit score, dropping their credit because again, that's affecting you by 15%. So again, keep your accounts open for as long as possible. The older your credit age, the more mature your credit profile will be. Fourth, we have credit mix, and this is just your ability to have different type of accounts being reported to your credit profile. So for example, we're not just going to get credit cards and stick with that, but let's just say I'm also going to get an auto loan alongside with my credit card and maybe even a phone bill. So it doesn't have to be an auto loan. Maybe you're in a position to where you don't want to take on an auto loan debt. You can have a credit card and then get a phone bill that's being reported to your credit report, and then that's credit mix. So credit mix makes up 10% of our credit score and is also extremely important. So if you have anything, make sure we have a diversification of type of accounts. So that can be a mortgage that you may have, that can be the credit card, that can be an auto loan, it can be a utility bill, such as a phone bill. But as long as you have a mix of credit profiles, this shows lenders that you can be responsible with multiple type of accounts so that you can build your credit even further. Fifth is credit inquiries, and this makes up 10% of your credit score. Now, the more that you apply for credit products, the more that it hurts your credit, especially if you're not being approved for credit. So we want to be strategic in the way that we go out and we apply for products. If anything, I like to separate my inquiries anywhere between 6 months to a year out. But if you're a seasoned credit user, then you know you really want to try to elongate that time period as much as possible. I'm at the point now to where I'm probably applying for products once a year, right? And you want to get to that point. I understand in the beginning it can be very interesting, or you may be wanting to jump at the opportunity to apply for every product that you see. But once you've had one credit card, you've pretty much had them all. So try to be disciplined and how frequent you're applying for products because it does impact your credit score. And again, that's 10%. Now, the most important part of the video is getting yourself a credit card that has a $0 annual fee, which is going to allow you to get a perfect credit score for free. So I started out with CIBC. I got their $0 cashback credit card. I recommend you do the same. Cashback is my preferred method because it's so easy to redeem. I can go to the store, charge the card, and then whatever cash back I can redeem, and it covers that balance that I have. So I think cashback is the best way. But if you prefer travel, then you can start out with a $0 annual fee credit card. Then in 6 months later, you want to repeat the process. So 6 months later, you want to get another credit card with a different bank. And then you'll do this one more time so that you have 3 credit cards, okay? And then you'll hold this for a certain time period, let's say anywhere between a year or two, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have a perfect credit score if you've done everything that I've discussed in this video. If you stick to the plan, you will have a perfect credit score. And then you just want to stay here. There's no need to try to go get a certain type of credit card unless you prefer to have a higher level credit card, such as an Amex or a Platinum. But again, a $0 annual fee credit card will pretty much get you to where you need to be. If you have any questions, if you have any issues with your credit, you can send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. If you like this video, I would love if you just click the like button, if you subscribe to the channel, and until next time, peace.